Good afternoon. My name is Leo Laskin from Spreadfast. We're a social media marketing company based in Austin, Texas, with a growing presence here in Sofia with the help of our partner, SoftServe. I'd like to thank them for giving me the opportunity to speak today, and of course all of you for coming to listen. Okay, now for a really small exercise, I know everyone just had a snack, so we need to get back into the swing of things. I want to just see a show of hands. How many people here know HTML? Okay, everybody, good. How about some JavaScript? Okay, a little harder topic. Angular.js. More, wow, plenty of people. React.js. A few more people. Okay, anybody who raised their hands to any of those questions, I want you to go outside, leave this is not for you. Go talk to SoftServe, give them your resume, and we can talk more about you working for Spreadfast and SoftServe, our partner. This talk is definitely less for those of you who raised your hands and more about how we at Spreadfast help people without your skills to create awesome social interactions with their customers. That being said, imagine you're a marketer who wants to create a kick-ass social hub for your users to interact not only with you, but also your product through multiple types of social media, whether they be Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or any of the other myriad of social networks that exist out there. To make that, it currently takes access to a few vitally important things: an idea or inspiration, design skills, and of course, what you guys bring to most of the table, development resources. But marketers don't usually have easy access to all of those things, or in a lot of cases, any of them. So we created Pages to help them get to that kick-ass social hub with as little friction as possible. But what does that look like? We had to really understand what our customers wanted and needed to provide all three of those things that I mentioned earlier in one place. We continually talked to customers, so we had an idea of what it would take to provide them with speed, customization, and ease of use. So we came up with a hypothesis of the features and experience points that would help people achieve their goals. Then we created wireframes with our hypotheses and showed them to our customers. Concept visualization was the first phase of our research. We contacted several of our key customers and showed them wireframes of what it would look like if we created this Pages application. This helped us to grow to understand what people wanted and how would they create their social hubs. We showed them the elements they'd be able to add to a page, things like headers, footers, images, buttons, and of course the most important part, because that's what we do, social visualizations. Most importantly, they'd be able to modify these elements to their liking, changing widths, sizes, backgrounds, all sorts of CSS as well, customizing it to their needs. We also explained to them that we'd have a gallery of starting points, or what in some cases are called best practices, for those times that they didn't have an idea of what combination of elements would work for them. The controls for these had to just make sense. Marketers don't have time to deal with complicated applications where they have to develop things using complicated UIs or even programming languages. They have to be intuitive for all of our customers. With validation from customers on base features, we started filling in the blanks. And boy, were we so glad that we spent some time talking to them about these. Because between increasing design fidelity and showing it to our customers, many things surfaced that wouldn't have come out with flat design. Most notably, people really don't think the way that the web works. The web is a series of boxes, if you really think about it, that developers manipulate to look a certain way. But it's not the way people think that manipulation happens. Our first draft for customers didn't really hit the mark. One of those in early beta even commented, "Oh, it looks like Excel." Because you had to create boxes before you could put elements in them. This was not at all the desired experience or response. Sorry to anyone here from Microsoft, but Excel just really is not intuitive enough if you don't know how to use it. We went back to the drawing board and applied some Web 2.0 stylings, and now the same customer turned on the right and said, "This is much better." Because it matched the way they think better. It was intuitive, it was user-friendly, and all they knew was what they wanted and where they wanted it. They're not familiar with the nuts and bolts of layout practices employed by designers and developers. Currently, the most effective way to create responsive experiences is through a text editor. Sublime Text, Text Wrangler, Notepad++, or some IDE you might use. And using frameworks like Bootstrap or Foundation, but for the average marketer, that's impossible. They don't know code. They're accustomed to using tools like Google Slides or presentations. By the way, this presentation was not made in PowerPoint, but Google Slides. And it was a huge pain to get from the laptop to the display. Welcome to audio, visual, and IT, right? Unfortunately, Google Slides can't give them fully responsive pages like this. PowerPoint and other visual tools and other visual design tools are completely static. So what we did is combine the familiar aspects of visual editors that I already use and connected that with the logic behind popular responsive frameworks like Bootstraps. The result is allowing them to edit text through WYSIWYG controls, the use of draggable in-object handles that resize elements on the fly and have them snap to appropriate column widths, instead of requiring them to choose a column width and manually enter it in some code or have a developer or designer do that. And allowing more drag and drop interactions. For example, inserting an image. You can just drag one from your desktop into this or from any file manager or what have you. The result, Pages is really a two-part experience. The starting point gallery is the unsung gem of experiences and Pages. What I told you about best practices, we provide these for our customers. The difficult part of creating these social experiences that appear on websites that I guarantee every one of you has used is the lack of control and customization that most of these had. But the editor we came up with removed most of these barriers. The next big problem for customers was figuring out what to put into a visualization and have it continue to look good without confusing their end user. Our research told us that most social marketers may have an eye for design and are able to discern when something looks good or bad, but may not be able to create themselves. The starting point gallery gives them the option to start with a blank canvas, a group of preset combinations of elements to make their content look great, or a more detailed starting point where they can just modify colors and some underlying CSS, and boom, it's ready to go. Here are some examples of some starting point best practices we've created. Storybeat. This starting point was created to show what a combination of elements could be used to stay on top of a story visually, since that's what audiences find more interesting. For example, this is actually not only available on a desktop application, but also in a mobile version that is completely scrollable and fully responsive as far as an application for both desktop and mobile versions. Also, you can fully customize this to talk about any news story. For example, recently it was used when there was a stray peacock in London, and they wanted customers to interact with them about the stray peacock. Don't ask me why, but that was their brand. Our second starting point is the brand name starting point. This is about inspiring audiences to engage with your brand's campaign. Note the different usability for both mobile and desktop platforms visible on the left and right. I don't know how to use the laser on this, but you can see that on the right we have significantly different layouts while containing the exact same equipment and material that you would see on the left. And this is our social good campaign. This is actually used by lots of companies that run positive things for social needs. Red Cross has used things like this. Political campaigns have used things like this. What it lets you do is talk about why you support the cause, post to your social networks, and it actually allows us, using our APIs that we have access to track where you're posting from, who's talking about your topic, who's talking about supporting your cause. Is it in the US? We also have versions, of course, of this, not only in the United States, but every continent all over the world. We can combine them into multiple versions. As you've seen, and I'm sorry, this probably was a lot faster than I thought it would be, but polling your audience for how they want a product to work leads to much better design. So don't forget, the design should start and end with the client. Thanks for giving me a chance to show you Pages and how we use customer feedback to drive our UX design strategy. We are always hiring great people at Spreadfast, so if you're interested and excited about working on a rapidly shifting, rapidly growing, and rapidly moving environment, please come chat with me or any of the other folks in the SoftServe booth. And if you want to head towards the other session in the X room with Anton Radov, SoftServe is actually going to be raffling off some things there shortly. So I want to thank you for your time, and you guys ask any questions you may have. I know that was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be.